Before we begin, I just want to thank you for the support. We're close to 4,000 subscribers and every one of you keeps this channel alive. If these stories speak to you, please consider subscribing. And let me know your thoughts in the comments, it truly means a lot. When she laughed, it wasn't playful, it was sharp, almost rehearsed, like she'd been waiting for the moment I finally asked if there was someone else. That smirk froze something inside me. I remember thinking how strange it was that her reaction bothered me more than the suspicion itself. What she didn't know was that I already had the first thread of truth in my hands, and her mockery tightened it. In that moment, everything clicked into place. She thought she'd shut me down, made me feel foolish. Instead, she confirmed exactly what I feared. And she had no idea the reveal coming later would wipe that smile off her face for good. I met her in the most ordinary way, at a friend's small gathering where neither of us really wanted to be. She laughed at a joke I barely finished, and something about the way her eyes softened made me feel like I finally found someone who saw me without judgment. We bonded over cheap coffee, long walks, and the kind of late-night conversations that make you believe a future together is not just possible but meant. Before long, we had our routines. Quiet mornings with her curled against me, weekend drives to nowhere, evenings where we planned a life that felt steady and real. For years, I trusted that stability. I invested my time, my effort, my heart because she made the world feel lighter. That's what made the betrayal burn. She didn't just break trust. She mocked everything we built. Looking back, I remember the warmth she used to have, and how sharply it contrasted with the cold distance that came later. And if I'm honest, the shift didn't happen all at once. It started with small things, a distracted tone here, a forced smile there. Little moments I brushed off at the time, not knowing. It started with little things, the kind you try to ignore because you don't want to believe they mean anything. She began texting late at night, tilting her phone away from me like it carried state secrets. Then came the sudden girls' nights, that somehow never lined up with the stories her friends casually mentioned. When I asked about it, she laughed it off, calling me dramatic or insecure, turning every honest question into a joke at my expense. I told myself not to jump to conclusions. I didn't want to be that guy, jealous, paranoid, controlling. But the distance between us grew, and no amount of logic could cover how cold she'd become. Little inconsistencies piled up. Outfits that didn't match the plans she claimed to have. Stories that changed each time she repeated them. A password suddenly added to a phone she never used to hide. She thought I wouldn't notice even if I stayed. Either way, something in my gut finally spoke louder than her reassurances, and I knew something big was coming. The moment everything snapped came on a random Wednesday. I was checking our joint account, just looking over routine bills, when a charge caught my eye. An expensive dinner for two at a place she once said was too romantic for us. Before I could process it, her phone lit up on the counter with a message preview she definitely didn't intend for me to see. I came home earlier than usual that day, and she walked in minutes later, hair messy, shirt slightly askew, breathing too hard for someone who claimed she'd just been running errands. Her excuses came fast, too fast, every word rehearsed and defensive. I finally asked the question I'd been swallowing for weeks. And she laughed. A cold, dismissive laugh that cut deeper than anything she could have admitted. She called me paranoid, dramatic, ridiculous for even thinking she could betray me. But that laugh told the truth her words never would. I felt it in my chest, the moment everything aligned, every red flag forming one undeniable picture. She thought she'd shut me down, embarrass me into silence. She had no idea her arrogance was the spark that lit the plan already forming in my mind. After that night, something in me went silent. I stopped arguing, stopped questioning, and pulled back far enough to see everything clearly. With the emotion stripped away, patterns emerged fast. I checked our phone records, cross-referenced times she claimed to be out, and compared them with charges on our bank statements. Her stories unraveled line by line. Social media filled in the rest, likes, comments, and tag locations she forgot to hide. That's when his name surfaced, a coworker who'd shaken my hand at a company barbecue while looking me straight in the eye. I gathered everything. Screenshots, timestamps, photos, and the gaps between her alibis. The evidence wasn't just convincing, it was airtight. And with it, I built a plan not fueled by rage but by clarity. I contacted a lawyer, separated our finances quietly, and reached out to the man's wife with what she deserved to know. I didn't rush. I didn't confront. I prepared. Every step was deliberate, measured, calm. She thought my silence meant she'd won, that I was backing down. But the truth was simple. She had no idea what I was about to do next, and the timing would break her confidence completely, beyond anything imagined. I chose my moment carefully, waiting until she felt secure in her lies. When I finally asked her to sit down, I kept my voice steady, almost detached, as I laid every piece of evidence on the table. The messages, the receipts, the overlapping timestamps. I watched her face shift from confidence to confusion, then to the kind of panic that comes when someone realizes their game is over. The woman who once laughed in my face now struggled to breathe, begging for another chance she'd already thrown away. I told her the truth calmly. I'd already spoken to his wife, already met with a lawyer, already arranged to move out. I wasn't angry anymore, I was done. The contrast between her arrogance and her unraveling was surreal. She reached for me, cried, tried to rewrite the story in time, but nothing she said mattered. I stood firm, steady, unmoved. For the first time in months, I felt in control. And as she realized the consequences were real, I saw the exact moment her arrogance finally collapsed. In my new apartment, the silence feels different, lighter, cleaner. Like the weight I carried for months finally fell off my shoulders. I wake up without tension, make coffee without walking on eggshells, and feel a calm I didn't realize I'd been missing. The betrayal hurt, of course it did, but losing someone who never valued me wasn't a loss at all. It was freedom disguised as heartbreak. Sometimes I think back to that laugh she used to belittle me, and I'm grateful for it now. That was the moment I finally saw the truth. If there's one thing I've learned, it's this: life gets better the second you stop fighting for someone who mocks your loyalty.